Really?
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Hubcast today on March 22nd, 2017. Jordan is joining us today. Steph and Jordan are back from Florida. How's it going, Jordan?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
How's it going, Stephanie?
It's so good.
Now,
infiltrate, Jordan. Infiltrate.
Go. And let's all appreciate the shirt that I bought for Jordan because it's so cute and it's so funny.
Wait, show it, Jordan. Show it off. Show it off.
Come on.
It says, "Seize the day."
I got it from right before we went to Florida.
I think it's worse that you didn't get
it.
it in Florida. In Florida, that would have been a funny shirt, but getting it to go to Florida kind of ruins the joke.
I was trying to get him excited to go.
It's like a mom buying a little sailor's outfit for her children before they go. Because it's like, oh, we're going to go on a boat. Oh, this is a sailor outfit.
Seriously, I got it. I was like, look how fun this is. It was really bad. We did get some cool stuff out there for you guys. We were going to get you guys something, but Jordan said no, I couldn't, so we didn't get you guys anything.
Instead, you killed wildlife.
Why are there squirrels on the on this?
So I did this new thing for the pre-show where I asked the chat to decide what animal I should Google. Or I just said thing.
On twitch.tv/the creatures.
Yes, exactly, Daniel.
The first suggestion was blue waffle, but Jordan passed on that one.
I said the first appropriate thing that comes up in the chat. I'll
the first
Google
thing
and
that
put
would
it
come up transparent. You think they read transparent as well?
Someone's taking time to cut it out.
It'd probably be a 200 by 200 image, but it would still be transparent.
Yeah. Hey, wait, Jordan, when are you dyeing your hair?
Oh, that's a great
Did you do that
question.
in December, and it's
it's almost like we brought up an idea to do it, and you were like, "Nope, I'm gonna do it pretty soon here, so you guys can't do it."
To put my
How long
tattoo
did
here.
you get your tattoo?
You should do it just before we go to England.
Oh yeah,
I was planning on doing it
You
on
could be a British chav in
Friday.
England with blue hair.
This Friday you're doing it?
Or I could do it Monday.
You should do it. You could do it on Monday because.
Why don't you ever let us do our idea for it?
Yeah, I do, because I don't want to make it a video for my channel. I wouldn't want to waste the time to put it on here.
I understand that.
You wouldn't want to waste the time to put it on here.
Yeah, like do it while we're doing hub stuff.
You wouldn't want to waste your time to film a hub video.
No, I'm saying I wouldn't want to waste the hub's time if we're here doing hub videos.
To make a funny video?
For my channel, though, so I wouldn't want to waste the hub's time doing that.
Because it's his thing.
It wouldn't be a waste of time if it was a funny video.
Do you like wasting time chasing cars around your head?
Don't go chasing.
Is that supposed to be a song or something like that?
We listened to it yesterday.
Anyway.
Isn't it Snow Patrol?
Yeah, it is.
Flashback. You know, I was working out yesterday, and a song came on by Sean Kingston that I completely forgot about. Do you guys remember Sean Kingston?
Is he a British rapper?
No.
He sounds like a British rapper.
I think he is like a rapper, singer, Sean Kingston. He, oh, shoot. I took a screen grab of this song. Hang on. I have to share it now.
Anyway.
No, wait.
Takes forever to look up.
Here it is. Look. Sean Kingston, There's Nothing, featuring somebody. There's nothing in this world. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Do you remember that song?
No.
Oh, well, it came on, and I was like, why did this come on? He was
like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
All you beautiful girls.
Oh, never
work. Yeah. I got the beautiful girls.
You don't remember that song? Okay, well, anyway.
I don't remember that at all.
Really?
I hate that song.
Am I allowed to play it, or is it copyright?
No, I'm not listening to that.
Sing it.
She's going on a hard tangent
Just
there.
kidding.
So we have a good chunk of stuff to talk about today. There's, a lot of stuff has come out. There's been travel. We have travel coming up. We're getting ready to go to Insomnia 60 in Birmingham. And that's going to be in April. So we have a video that we're going to be filming for that, for like a full-on announcement thing. We already mentioned it before one of our gaming videos. We've tweeted out a few times, but we're making a special video for it.
Yay.
And it's fun. Lots of travel, and now it's time to talk about what happened last travel.
What? It's really sad what happened in London, by the way. I just wanted to say.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Wait,
shoot,
let's
I
take
forgot
a
about
serious
that.
moment to say.
I had
Yeah.
notifications when I woke up this morning.
I haven't even seen
when I
anything
wake
on
up.
it. Just what Dan kind of summarized at breakfast.
Yeah. Just thoughts out to those people.
Thoughts and prayers go to
Yeah.
everyone
We were there.
involved.
When you,
Thoughts,
me, and
prayers,
Little Joe
love.
went to England.
That was Heathrow, right?
What?
Heathrow?
When we went to England?
Where was it? I thought it was at a train
London.
station, or was it?
It was at
I
Big
thought
Ben.
it was a.
Oh, I thought
Yeah.
it was at an airport or something.
Nope.
Oh, I thought I
No,
heard
it was
that
at
mentioned.
the
You know
Parliament
that
building.
square
Oh,
we were in
okay.
with
Yeah,
like
no,
grasses?
I know, yeah, I know,
It was
right.
on the
Westminster
bridge,
Bridge
and then it
and-
was right there.
Goodness.
Yep.
It's scary.
A lot of
Yeah,
tourists.
for some reason I thought someone had said it was at the airport, but well, that's never good to have stuff like that happening.
No, it's scary. Send in our love and prayers and good
Yeah, so
vibes and all that.
we will be over there in, when is that? April 12th through
It's less than a month.
Yeah, April
15th-ish.
3 weeks?
Yeah, we're going to be there for like I bet.
That's so
Yeah, I looked on the
close.
Insomnia site the other day, and it said 23 days. I had a countdown, 23 days, and I was like, I forgot my
You guys
axe.
just got back from a week-long trip
Yeah.
to Florida.
Dan, can you
the
get my axe for
shittiest
me?
of the 50
He's
states.
having the axe jimmies
I love
right now.
Florida.
Florida
Dan, can you
has
get my
Disney
axe?
World and the Miami Heat, and that's it.
What? I
Well,
love going
we
there 'cause
saw
my
neither of
grandpa's there.
those,
I
so
know.
Yeah, we
Did
did.
either of you guys notice Jordan was like, I don't have my axe. And then he started going like, he's like, Dan, can you grab my axe? Like,
You don't
looking
get
at it right
no.
now.
Jonesing for the
Don't
axe
give
right
him the
now.
axe. He'll do that thing when he had the broom that one time where he just like messes like. He, like
I
he,
just
like,
wanna
puts it on
hold
the
it.
desk and he's like doing this. No, you don't get the axe.
I guess I just
Jordan the
ignore
axe
everything
man.
Jordan does now because it's so common.
Yeah, it is very common. Don't get him the axe.
Don't get him the axe. He doesn't need it.
Thank you. Thank
Gosh.
you, Dan.
Let's just all appreciate Dan for being a good friend to Jordan because none
friends
of us would have
don't
done
let
that.
friends not have axe.
Friends enable their friends by giving them dangerous objects to hold. I just wanted to hold
Very
this.
true.
I just
Florida's
like-
not the worst
I
state
just like
either.
the
I'm
feel.
gonna go
It's
back
not.
on that statement. What is the worst state?
Missouri.
Idaho?
Missouri. Get it?
Idaho. No, I'd
Sorry.
say North Dakota.
Really? Is it that bad?
Why?
North Dakota has nothing.
But at least it's open space. It's not like a concrete
Even
jungle.
the
where
people who
Sorry
live
to
in
all
North
you North
Dakota don't want to live in North
Dakoters.
Dakota. No, I don't
What
know.
about,
I don't
what
know.
I'm
about
pretty sure
Nevada
that's it.
aside from Las Vegas and Reno?
It's not bad.
Have you ever been to Carson City?
No, I don't. You don't go to any of the cities. They actually have like mountains and cool vistas.
That's
and
their
stuff.
capital.
I'm telling you right
Have you
now,
ever
North
noticed that
Dakota
in
has
every
nothing.
sci-fi movie, they're like, there's a giant nuclear dump in Nevada.
Actually, I take it back. What about Maine?
I feel like we're
Maine is
insulting
awesome.
people.
Maine is? I've
Maine's
never
actually
been.
really cool.
Oh, sorry, Maine.
Yep.
Where's that place that my aunt moved for a while and she just moved here from there and it's really cold and snowy?
That's
Vic.
Maine.
That is Maine. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
That's what-
Maine.
damn it.
Maine is cool. Like Maine has some
thinking
cool
it is.
outdoorsy stuff
Oh,
there.
she
It's
didn't
a
like
good
it
place.
very much. That's why
Anyway,
I
so
back
me
it.
and Steph just
Sorry.
got back from Florida, and
Florida.
it was apparently this whole family trip. Like
You guys had a cute selfie.
commemorate.
Yeah.
What is it? What is it? Not. It's almost annual. Sometimes you guys don't go,
Yeah,
but for the
we've
most
been
part,
going
for the
since I was
past
a
like
baby.
20ish years, they've been going down to Florida
Since I was a
to see your
baby.
grandfather in Naples, and then they sometimes go up to Orlando to hit some theme parks. And it was my first experience doing this. I don't like Florida very much just because of the just crazy heat and humidity. I've never been a fan of that. So we go down there. It's colder in Florida than it is in Colorado this particular week. I
this
decided to go
week.
down.
Nice.
And
Was it still humid?
No,
It
wa-
really
was
wasn't
it was just
bad at
cool
all.
and
It was very nice.
windy.
It was
Any
cold,
bugs?
but it was
no
nice.
bugs at all,
Wow.
and it was insane
Yeah.
to go there because I was like, my goodness, this is freezing cold. I thought
You
we were
brought
actually
the
gonna.
Colorado with you.
Yeah.
We did because
Jordan
no, it
brought-
literally got
Oh,
cold
sorry.
the day after we
Yeah.
like the day we got there was the cold day. The day before was like 85 degrees.
Yeah, my grandpa blamed Jordan for bringing the cold, and also we can maybe say later, but his dog pooped on the boat, and the dog has never ever done that, and he pooped in Jordan's spot. So,
Jordan brought the elf.
That's called an omen.
It is the elf omen. the elf
I
I
curse
got a
is
video of it
spreading
though. We
quickly.
were looking at dolphins, and yeah, we were all excited. And then Jordan went to go sit in the seat, and Lola had pooped on the boat.
Lola?
Yeah.
Her name's Lola.
Yeah, so
Anyway,
that
sorry, I'm
was
jumping ahead.
fun.
Sorry,
The
go ahead.
boat
It was
boat
fun.
experiences were sad because it was just so windy. The seas were choppy.
But we had
it was
fun.
freezing cold. It was still fun, but it was
I
just
was
shocking.
laughing my ass off.
But then we saw the dolphins.
Yeah.
We saw the dolphins. I had never
We
seen
see dolphins
wild
every
dolphins
time we go
before.
down there. They're
They're beautiful.
beautiful.
Wild dolphins are really
They
cool.
like
I just want to
swimming in
ride
the
one.
wake of boats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever you're on a cruise ship, they're always behind the cruise ship.
Yeah, they're really pretty.
There used to be a lot at the shore. We, my family always vacationed at Sunset Island. Not Sunset Island. Joe. Anyway, that what's that beach place? Fucking
Myrtle Beach.
not Myrtle Beach. No, it's Ocean Isle. We used to go to Ocean Island all the time.
Yay for Joe.
Ocean Isle, and there was a lot of wild dolphins that would it was pretty regular. They'd come up close to shore and just kind of swim in the surf
So
and
cool.
stuff. Like not crazy often, but we saw them. I saw them like 2 or 3 times in my life.
That's awesome.
So
I
that's
love
kind of
dolphins.
oftenish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was cool to see wild dolphins, and yes, in the excitement that we
Yeah.
saw this dolphin, the dog decided to poop itself on my seat, which I cleaned up soon after that. But so that was fun.
My
So that was
grandpa thought it was hilarious.
that was the boat
Wait,
experience.
did he jump up onto your seat and hunker down?
She's like
None
like
of us
this
saw
big.
her poop. Like that's what was so weird is we were all like, "Oh, dolphins!" and then
'Cause-
he went to sit back down. But I filmed it, and on the camera you see me like pan over here, and you see Lola, and she's like looks really odd, and it pans away, and it's ocean, and it goes back to Jordan. He's like laughing, but in the corner, if I zoom in, you can see 5 turds.
5?
Yeah, there were like 5 turds.
It was like a
and then we were like, "The dog pooped," and
Yeah,
he
it was
just was
pretty
like
good.
laughing his ass
Hey,
off.
when you're on the ocean, you can only do so much. There's
I
not a lot of
know.
places to go.
Spencer did.
Oh, that's funny.
Technical difficulties.
You guys should start. Oh,
Hello.
What part did I get cut off at?
I have no idea because they're 20-second delayed. So
Okay, so
who knows?
there's squirrels in the corners because the squirrels need to be there. Where did I leave off at, people? Help me out here. 'Cause
welcome
I know I was
back
talking
to the
about.
sound.
Anyway, after all the boating adventures, we went up to Orlando.
Thanks, Elf, for taking out the audio.
I'm waiting. It was the elf. My
Every
goodness,
time
this
this
is
elf
we're
is
having
fucking
so many
involved.
problems.
You know what's scary is that we can't see him anymore. Before we used to have an eye on him all the time. He's just in the attic right now
Oh,
with
yeah,
a
you guys put him
happy
in the
birthday
attic.
bag next to him.
While you guys were gone, we went through and did things to appease the elf. We gave him gifts and stuff. But I think he didn't like it because everybody wasn't here. Like I think he wanted everybody in the house.
shit.
Well, there was one
was
thing that
intruding in
happened
his
too.
space.
Is
Crap.
the first gift you gave him the card,
Yeah.
and then Joe got impatient and saw the Funyuns and just took the Funyuns and started eating them.
Oh,
He just took them out of the bag.
Joseph.
I know.
Ooh,
I know.
shit.
So I think that may have frustrated him as well.
Yeah.
And then he's up there with a bowl of porridge and a happy birthday bag. So
Is that gonna start smelling?
maybe.
Maybe some point.
You guys just left porridge.
Okay, so I think
And the
people are
attic?
saying
There's
is right
fiberglass in
after.
it.
Okay.
Someone's saying right after the turd part. So
I mean,
You went
we
up to
really
Orlando.
didn't say
Okay, went up to Orlando.
And you're at
so after
Orlando
we did all
theme
that
park.
stuff, yeah, we
Yep.
went up to Orlando.
Yep.
And at Universal Studios, which is just a sad excuse for a theme park.
It's
just
not. It's fun.
you
it's
sit
just,
on you sit on a moving chair with your 3D glasses on,
it's
and that's about
fun.
every single
You
ride
were
right
having a
there.
blast. Shut up, you negative Nelly.
I heard the Spider-Man ride's really good.
That's
Yeah,
at
well, that was at
Islands
the other one.
Adventure.
So we'd actually
But the rides at studios are a lot like that one. Like Transformers at Universal Studios is basically Spider-Man. Like, you know, when Spider-Man jumps on your hood and he's like, "Hey!" In Transformers, it's that cat thing. It's like, it's like in the
That cat
Transformers
thing.
one,
Wait, there's a
we're trying to
cat
save
thing?
the Allspark. So we're fighting the Decepticons, and you're in a car, and we're new troops that are out there in the city trying to help with everybody.
The troops never do anything.
yeah, it was
There's
it
Shia
was
LaBeouf,
stupid.
and then there's the Autobots, and everyone else is expendable and
Yeah.
garbage.
Well, that's
There's
what we were. It
fodder
was
the
expendable
entire
garbage.
the
I guess
entire
Mark
thing.
Wahlberg now
Yeah.
too.
Megatron grabbed our car, and he's like, "Ah."
Mark Wahlberg and his hot daughter.
Mark Wahlberg was featured
yeah.
very little in the newest
You think she's pretty?
trailer.
I don't know. I haven't seen her.
She is pretty, but everyone in the
Pretty-
Transformers movies
She's
look so. They
underage,
always
so
look
we
Pretty to
can't
Michael
make
Bay. I'll
comments.
call that.
Oh.
She's hot to Michael Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
she's
she's beautiful.
underage.
Everybody looks dirty in those movies. Everyone
Oh,
needs
yeah.
to take a damn shower.
It's like not Avril Lavigne.
It's pretty dirty though.
Christina
Like, it's-
Aguilera.
Yeah.
Christina Aguilera.
Oh, in her stronger days.
in her dirty days.
That was stronger. Stronger.
She has a song called "Dirty." Though.
Can I finish my
That
story?
was Britney Spears did a song called "Dirty." I thought.
No, that's
Story.
Christina
Oh.
Aguilera. You're mixing up.
I'm making-
your your
I'm Mickey
blonde-haired,
Mousing,
blue-eyed
'cause they're
women
Mickey
from the
Mouse Club.
'90s.
That's right. I mixed them up. Stronger.
So they went on vacation.
Anyway.
Next
Oh, yeah.
topic.
No,
No, I'm kidding. I was joking. That was the joke. That was the joke. I
See,
was
he
doing.
had such a fun time. He wants to talk about
53
it.
months in a row. Subscribe. Bebop 56210.
53
Holy
months.
shit.
I don't know how many months
Crazy
that is.
Bebop.
What?
I mean,
It just said
how many
53
years is
months.
that? 4 or 5?
4.5 years.
Yeah, 4.5 years.
My
That's crazy.
goodness.
Did
We
you hear
should
that?
do. We
My
should
straw made
change
fart
those
noise.
because you can do tiers of length.
Oh, that's
with the
crazy.
badges now. I
See,
will go
look,
through and
Jala
change
enjoyed
those.
the Transformers, right?
I'm just gonna go on the
only one.
Twitch one day and just redo everything. Don't worry.
We'll get there someday. Anyway, park.
You know
It
what's so
was
crazy about Christina
very-
Aguilera and Britney Spears?
Very
though?
unimpressive. The Universal Studios. We went to the Harry Potter place. Was pretty cool
Jeez,
though.
4.5 years.
Did you buy a wand?
Wow.
No, I didn't. I went through
That's
it.
half of the park.
I went
went-
through it and I was just like,
Oh, are you talking? What? Why are you?
we went through the
you listening?
Ollivander
No, I cut it.
experience.
When he's negative, I
where
cut
we
him out.
walked into the Ollivander room and there's some
It
weird
was cool. They had a noise
British
effect
guy
for the
that
stones moving, so it was like.
Was John Hurt there? Was the ghost of John Hurt there?
I wish.
Oh, no.
But it wasn't. It was just this random
They have a
British guy
dragon
that was an
breathes
actor.
fire.
Stephanie, I'm at Ollivander's, not just walking into Diagon
Are you talking about the
Alley.
really awkward thing we went through?
Yes.
Steph, yeah, to catch up to the story.
So anyway, once
she looked
again-
at the chat and got just so off base.
Well, when Jordan starts bitching, I don't usually listen.
I'm
I
not
kind of just
complaining.
tune
I'm
him out.
describing.
Didn't she just say when Jordan starts bitching, she locks in?
No, I
And then-
tune him out.
I know, but you turned over when he started bitching because you wanted to correct him, and then you leaned over to Spencer and said, "It's when he starts like whatever." So you just said like two.
Because I was trying to shoot him a dirty look, Daniel. I like to give him those bitch, you're gonna be in trouble later looks.
So at Ollivander's, did a wand choose you and you passed on buying it?
Holy
No.
hell.
That's why I didn't get a wand, is because I wasn't chosen by a wand.
No.
So maybe one day.
Ariel
I
was
actually
chosen
I
in
saw
our group.
Grigorovich's wand shop around the corner, but I didn't know if it was the same
did?
thing and if you
Okay.
get the same stuff. So I looked through the wands. I was like, whatever. But the Ollivander experience, you go into this room and this guy's up on this ladder and he kind of turns around and is like,
He's like
Harry Potter.
No, he just leers at you.
he just
quietly,
kind of
looks at
quietly
you.
scuttles down the staircase and like picks someone. He's like, "Oh, what's your name?" I thought you might be. No, I was like,
Yeah, no, that's what he did.
He
And
said,
she's like,
he's like,
"Ariel?"
I was wondering when I should be expecting you. Come over here. And
It
then
was-
there's just silence for like 30 seconds as this guy just kind of like,
It was
he
the most
has a full-on
uncomfortable
acting
thing.
experience.
Usually in these movies they have like
Yeah,
have music or
music.
And
something.
music, but it was yeah,
no,
it's
literally
really
that.
dead
Experience.
silence. I
with
could
no
hear
music. So
Jordan
he would
breathing.
just be like,
And he'd do this all the time. He'd go, "Prr, prr." He'd tap
I
his fingers for like
wonder.
5 minutes.
and then yeah, he would walk up to a thing and just be like,
You know what would be the best part about all this? Because if you're like, Jordan, he's like, I thought so. And then he comes back with one, he's like, okay, Gordon.
It was the most awkward thing. Like, we
yeah,
stood
it
there
was
in
silent.
silence.
And then
Baby Jala said it was she did it with her two sisters.
Yeah,
it was hella
it's
awkward.
so
Yeah, it was
uncomfortable.
pretty
I think
awkward.
they do it on
There's
purpose.
so-
These late girls next to us.
There's-
Is that what you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah, there was this awkward moment that happened that just had me kind of like.
You almost started
I
laughing.
don't say like
It's so
stuff makes me
quick.
cringe a lot,
Did you
but this is
r/cringe?
This was
is an
cringy.
r/cringe moment that. So basically what happens is you're kind of, so it's a square room and we're all kind of grouped in the back corner so that he had like that whole space to act and do his thing. So they grouped us in
Stuffed
the
in a
back. So we're
corner.
all stuffed in this little corner. And this guy's looking around and he's like, seriously, you heard it so clearly because it was the only thing in the room. It was just for like 10 seconds. You're like, when is he going to stop this?
It was
All of a
like,
sudden he looked over.
It's like a
awkward.
loading screen, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And he was just looking around. Like, I
Exactly.
understand the acting. The acting would have translated really well on film, but in an instance like that, it just wasn't working. So he turns over at
maybe
the
it was an
crowd.
advanced animatronic. It's Westworld up in the
maybe
shit.
it was.
I thought so.
I
was so
thought I would be
weird.
expecting you. So anyway, he comes up to the crowd of us in the corner, and he's just like that, just like. And it's like, okay, where do you expect us to go, you idiot? We're stuffed in this
I, like,
corner, and you want us to
scuttled
make a path back. So a path forms, and these two girls that were really into the Harry
girls
Potter thing,
next
they
to
both
me.
had their Gryffindor robes, and they were really giddy. And we all stepped aside, but she thought he was coming to her to pick her out.
She got so
the person was
Oh, no.
already picked up front, and she steps in the middle and kind of just like gets really
and she was
excited,
like
just
6 foot, so
and
she
she was pretty tall. Yeah, she was pretty tall, and she
Yeah.
steps up and she's just like,
like
and
so.
I hear her gasp like in excitement
'Cause it's so
she's
quiet.
like right in the middle of this
Yeah.
gap. And he walks up to her and she's like. He shoos her out of the way and goes and grabs the wand that he wants and then
And
scuttles
her friend
back.
just starts cracking up, and she like moved out
So
of the
it's
way.
dead silent, and this girl in the back's like laughing
Like
the entire
snickering to
time. I was like,
herself.
oh man.
It was so awkward.
Oh my god.
It was so awkward.
And then there was just a nice applause when everything was done.
And we
he just
scuttled
he
out
just
of
like
there.
what did he do? Did he like walk up the thing again
No,
and just
it was.
kind of watch
He
us?
basically
Like-
reenacted the thing from the movie where he's like trying to figure out which wand is yours, and he'd be like, "Try this one," and she'd
give it a flick, and
Yeah.
he's like, oh no.
and then the
no,
really
no.
cheap like things would move, so like the books would be like.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
It's
he'd be
like
I'll
the
fix that. Blah, 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 blah.
he
and
probably
then they'd
does
go
this
back,
like
80 times
80
a day.
It
times
was
a
so
day.
awkward. Like I've never been so uncomfortable.
I just want you to go back
Ever.
now and walk in and be like, what's your name?
Yeah, I like people go through that. Like they probably go through that several times just to try and get
because I was like dying
poking.
laughing. I had to like put my face in my shoulder so I wouldn't start laughing at him, but I like couldn't breathe.
I hope they have some music, something. Like,
Yeah,
just like
They
like
did
just
have,
like
like,
some
music.
some really soft music, or I mean, he could play to the cues of that. I
Yeah.
guess I don't know.
They
It
played
was
music
just-
for a second when she got the right one. It was like, oh,
well,
and
yeah,
then like
that's
this
what
huge
happens
light
in the
went on her
movie
and
is
like
all
a
it-
fan turned on.
That's what happens in
It
the
was-
movie, Stephanie.
Oh yeah.
Some Harry Potter fan, yeah. But so that was fun. Got butterbeer, frozen butterbeer is
talking
just
about
as good as I remember it.
I hate that.
Okay, yeah. Now you
Sorry.
just asked 10 million more people to do it because you said you hate it.
I'm sorry.
My goodness.
Sorry.
Nice feet, Steph. So yeah, I got butterbeer. Frozen butterbeer is just as good as I remember it. It's fantastic. Went to all the other rides. I don't think anything else crazy happened there. Besides that
Universal?
fish making me kiss her suit.
Yeah,
What?
the parade. This girl that was in a SpongeBob fish costume came skiing up to Jordan and was like, put
Well,
out
she
her
was
hand
getting high
and
fives.
was
She
like,
gave high fives to all
flirting.
like everyone in line. Then Steph and her sisters, and I was on the corner. I was like sitting there, like, okay, here we go.
he
And then
was
she
hitting on that
stopped there,
fish
and she's like,
hard.
I'm
She like
"Oh,
almost
you
fell.
kidding
That
me?"
was the best part.
And
Like when she
was
skated away,
like,
she like
because it was like a corner, where there's a storm gutter and stuff
Yeah.
on the side, and she almost
she
fell
tripped
over.
up a little bit, and we
She
saw
just
her butt, and I was like, whoa.
Put
the
her
fish
hand
butt.
out.
That was it though. There was nothing else like crazy.
Well, I mean, for
Except
the most
for how
part,
like expensive it is there. The cups at like we went to eat at this burger joint, and the cups have a barcode at the bottom of them. So when you fill them, it scans the barcode, so you can't get refills.
like the
will-
machines,
it
it's
won't turn
those
on.
Coke Freestyle machines, you know, the
Yeah.
ones with all flavors. And there's like this little cup ring at the bottom that you set your cup in, and if it does not have a barcode or not a refill meter, you cannot, like, it won't work. The machine is like,
What a
your
bunch of
cup is already
cheapskates.
used
Isn't
a
that
refill.
crazy?
Can you get
and
free
the meals
ice?
were already and the meals were already $15, you guys, for a
Oh,
fucking
dude.
burger and fries. And a
Well,
drink.
yeah, it's theme park food. It's
I just-
garbage.
oh,
It
so
was
bad.
absolute garbage. But
Yeah, you're kind of committed though. That's the thing
Exactly.
that sucks.
Yeah.
It's
You
like
gotta
you're
get
committing
food.
to this magical experience, and then
Yeah, and
If
you
you
commit
want-
to the lines. And
If
they're
you want
expensive.
cheaper food, you can't just leave the front of the park because the restaurants around there are more expensive too. You now have to drive like 3 miles
Yeah.
outside of the park to
so
get
you're
cheaper
taking
food.
like an hour and a half out of your
Yeah.
park day to
Yep.
go somewhere
Imagine
else.
if you had like 3 kids that you brought to the park, and you have to get like meals for all of them. And then like the souvenirs and everything is like
I
those
want a
ones
special
at
cup.
Harry Potter Land were $50 if you wanted the thing, because they're $50 because they have the chip at the top, so you can go around Harry Potter world,
is-
and they have like sensors, so you can do stuff.
yeah, you can.
yeah, and
you
the
can
dragon
go
will be like,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
You can go up to there was this one like pond thing that we sat at
fountain.
when we were drinking our butterbeer, and I was like, I'm dead set on seeing these people
Yeah, we waited
hit
for
each
a
other with the
while.
water, because if you waved it, a little water spout would come out and hit like
That's cool.
15
It was
feet
cool.
behind you in just a random spot. And I would sit there and watch as people are just sitting there watching, and then the water would come like and it was a good chunk of water. It's, you know, if it shoots,
Yeah.
you know, a good
It
stream.
was always really cute when you saw like, you know, like a little 4-year-old like who
I've seen-
loves Harry
and
Potter.
so many
That was
people-
when it was
oh,
cute.
so many
But it was
people were
kind of
getting
weird when
hit.
like all these people.
Well, they were
running
almost
around.
getting hit by this
Yeah.
water stream, but then this one guy would warn them and be like, "Oh, you better watch out!" And then they'd step out of the way, and all of a sudden,
We
I just
waited
wanted to
though
see
for a
someone
while.
get
We
hit.
saw where the puddle was, and we sat at a table and just watched people go by. And we'd be like, "Oh, they're gonna get hit! They're gonna get hit!" We were those people for like about an hour, and then we left.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
That was
Theme
it,
parks.
though. I think there was nothing else really
Yeah.
exciting. That was just it was a good trip.
Didn't find the frozen head of Walt Disney anywhere.
No,
Well, there was a few instances. So besides the 2 major things that we did, Steph murdered a mollusk.
Ugh.
She
that sounded fucking cruel. By the
she
way,
found
murdered him.
she
This is
found this
worse than the
awesome
bug
shell
story.
on the beach, and was like, "Oh, this is so good." And I was like, "Steph, you're not supposed to be taking the ones that have things in them still." And I was like, "Oh, I'll get them out of here." So she sat there with her oyster shell trying to pry whatever.
Once it was
poor-
dead, though.
No.
Not
No.
as a-
You tried it when it was
Jordan,
alive. You
stop.
sat there trying to pry this thing out of there, and you were like, "I can't get it."
it was like going
It's the
in
little
more. It was-
microscopic noise it was making.
yeah, those things.
you realize that
are
they're
in
attached
there
to the shell.
Yeah.
You have to like scrape it off
I didn't-
and kill it. And
I was just trying to
skin it to actually get it out of the shell.
I was just lightly trying to pull them out. 'Cause I
They're
Okay,
attached.
once again,
I
she
didn't
had
say
a
shell.
shell
I
that
didn't
was
know
trying
they were
to
attached.
scoop
That's like
it
saying
out.
like, oh, you have a very cool skull. I'm gonna try to take your skull, but keep you alive.
trying to rip someone's
I
face
just
off
thought
their
it
skull.
was just like
So
in
anyway,
there.
she was sitting there trying to pry it out, and she was like, and I was like,
wasn't
Steph,
coming
just
out.
leave it. It's an okay shell. It was nothing
It was
special.
beautiful.
And then
Yeah, that's why I picked it.
it was so
and
pretty.
then she ended up bringing it back. She was, I was like, Steph, what are you gonna do? And so she put it in bleach.
I didn't put it in bleach. My
Okay,
grandfather
you-
said we could bleach
Well,
it
you had
and
to
see if we
you
could
have
get it
to bleach
out.
shells.
I didn't get to this part.
Yeah, so,
I thought it was just a
so
horrid
as
bird on the beach.
they were bleaching the shells, they threw the mollusk one in there too to just murder this thing. So it got
Because you
murdered.
have to bleach the shells so they don't smell. So whatever you get, you bleach so it dies.
Yeah,
Okay,
if there's
okay.
nothing inside of it.
And then ultimately, in the
It's a
end,
mollusk.
after all this trouble, did you come back with the shell?
So after
It was stuck in the
after
shell, I couldn't
prying
get it out.
at this thing for another 20 minutes with a screwdriver and it not coming out. She ended up- Now, did you
So I was,
throw
like,
it back into
digging
the
at
canal, or did you just put it in a rock somewhere?
We
so
put
we
it in a
could...
bag and threw them away.
A bag? Why didn't you put it back on the beach?
Because my mom was
Oh,
like, we're
my
not bringing that thing.
goodness.
It's
The
gonna
bleached
smell. And she
shell?
was like pissed. So my grandpa was like, she won't know here. And he like put it in a Ziploc. We wrapped it up and I was just gonna hide it with the other shells. When we got here, I was gonna bring it to you guys and we were gonna all.
Bury it?
all gut it together?
I'm not gutting a fucking mollusk with you.
I thought you guys might gut it.
I
with
hope
me.
you
So I
get a
was like,
beautiful house. I hope you get the most pretty house in the world, and some giant comes by and like scrapes you against the walls, and then takes your house and walks away, and then is like, I don't like it, and then tosses it over its shoulder.
I'm sorry,
Steph
but
probably killed Wendy. I wouldn't. Were you where? In 2013, did you ever drive around in Kencaro Valley?
Yes, the hoodlums of Littleton always drive around in the
I
Kencaro
mean,
Valley.
yeah, but it's not like
She
I
ran
didn't
Did you
kill
ever
over
Wendy.
Did you run over a squirrel?
It's a mollusk. I don't. Like, there's
Yeah, a mollusk
I'm
has
sorry.
some great
I
attributes.
think this
all
is
the
a sign.
time.
Somebody randomly picked squirrel, but we did the squirrel icon things. I think this was a sign from the elf. The elf has been trying to tell us this entire time that Steph was
elf
the
is-
one, the
Wait,
original
the
killer
elf
of Wendy.
doesn't just dislike us. The elf only dislikes Steph.
People who have committed evil acts, including
The elf
killing
possessed
Wendy.
me to do it. It wasn't me.
This is like what lies beneath.
Sorry, I just wanted
Goodness.
the shell.
Well, anyway,
Shit.
so that was that instance.
So we ended up having to throw it out because my mom saw me walking in the back of the car. Then she's like, "Yeah, I'm bringing that in the car."
Then put it
I told
back on
you.
the beach.
I told you you
we
could
weren't
put
near
it.
it anymore. My dad.
No, I know,
my
but you're
grandpa
at
has
the
a
canal, so you could have put it in the rocks there, and it probably would have gotten eaten out of there by bugs or anything, and then eventually would have come back, and you could have grabbed it next year.
I know, but I had already put it in the trash.
Goodness. Anyway,
So now
So-
in some landfill, there's a dead
Poor
mollusk inside of
mollusk
a
that's
beautiful
rotting.
shell.
It was a
Rotting
beautiful
in
shell. It was a
shell.
beautiful big purple shell. It was like this. It was.
It wasn't that
And it was in
great.
good condition. Jordan.
anyway. Another thing, the last thing I have to say about
What
Florida
now?
is
Is it bad?
well, one. By the way, when we were in Orlando, the only thing it was funny because Dan, you remember when we were over there for Minecon?
Yep.
Cece's Pizza?
Yes, one Cece's Pizza.
yogurt pizza, never again.
They tried to get me to
He
eat
brought
it
this
again.
up so many times
People,
about
whenever
you
I bring
guys
it up,
eating
people
that.
are like, "Oh, a banana yogurt, like a banana pudding pizza. That sounds
Ew.
actually really good." And I was like, "No, it's warm. This is warm pizza we're talking about. Banana pudding warm." It's not-
Cece's has some good mac and cheese pizza, though.
Oh yeah. It's like cheap mac and cheese.
It's passable.
And
It's
I
like
didn't,
cheap mac and
so I was
cheese
kicking myself that I didn't get a picture of it because we almost drove by it one of the times. Lobster Feast.
Oh, lobster feast.
Lobster Feast. I was gonna eat a picture and send it to Sly because when we were down
Lobster
there,
Feast.
that's all that Sly would say is
Lobster
like,
Feast.
"I'm gonna eat at Lobster Feast."
He can probably go whenever he wants
He's like,
now.
dude, lobster
I'm
feast.
not sure. Yeah, but yeah, he was obsessed with that. We actually ended up going with. We had a meeting there with somebody. They were like, "Pick a place," and Sly was like, "Lobster
Dang it.
Feast."
Sorry, go
So
ahead.
we went to Lobster Feast. So I didn't
Yeah,
get
we
a
had
picture of it.
business- We had a
Sadly,
business dinner at Lobster Feast.
You
Yeah.
did.
yes, we did.
We did. It was
Good
pretty
thing.
funny.
Good thing it
That's
was a
funny.
business dinner because then we didn't have to pay for it.
That's true. It was lobster.
So speaking of animals, Is that the rest of your story for Florida?
Well, then we went to another brewery. And
Oh, God, there's a dead lizard in the lobby.
They were in the lobby. We walked into the lobby of the waiting room of the thing. And
Next to the Pac-Man machine.
There's a Pac-Man machine in the corner and like some windowsills. There's a dead lizard.
It's
like,
frozen
sitting
like that.
This. It was just dried up. And
It
had been there for weeks.
We should have left then, too, because the food was... It was so...
That's a health code violation in the lobby.
That lizard
okay,
had
if it's
been
like
there
that
for a
out there,
long
imagine
time.
what it's like in the kitchen.
I don't want to know.
Have you ever
It was-
seen
It's an
kitchen
open,
nightmares?
visible area.
Yeah,
Like people have actively ignored that.
Yeah, well, Jordan picked the worst food places when we were down there because we
actually
went to
pretty good
Cracker
at
Barrel,
food.
which
Okay,
was Jordan's
so-
idea, and it was disgusting. We went to that
Here's the
brewery, which
thing.
was
Here's
Jordan's
the thing,
idea, and it was
Stephanie.
disgusting.
Stephanie.
My mom got sick from the Cracker Barrel you chose.
Listen here.
Cracker Barrel.
The Cracker
in
Barrel was
Orlando,
fine.
Been to
what
a
the
bad
fuck?
Cracker Barrel.
It was gross.
They had their sausage
mad.
patties tasted like they just ground up hot dogs and put them into a sausage
It
patty.
was
Like
so
that's
bad.
seriously,
That's
they
so gross.
tasted like
It
hot
looked-
dogs.
I went to an
Disgusting.
Indian restaurant not too long ago, and I got their chicken tikka masala.
Yeah.
And the chicken tasted like hot dogs, and it ruined the whole dish for me. It was so bad.
So that
I
about
didn't kill that
about
lizard.
the places, I make it a point that whenever I go somewhere at all, like avoid chains. Like I try and get things that aren't chains because you actually want to experience something that's good. The thing about the Orlando area is that all the non-chain things are usually still that like really like they've adopted the way to make things cheap but also charge expensive prices
So
for it.
Orlando's a huge tourist spot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So it's a
exactly.
bunch of tourist restaurants that aren't chains. So we ran into a few that were just like, this is atrocious. And it has good
bad.
ratings too. And because people are just like, oh, it's a great place to dump 15 of our kids as we're, drinking beer
We
and
did have
stuff
15
like that.
kids next to us at the brewery.
I know. That's
They
what I'm
all
saying.
just came from Disney. And they were like, there's a table of parents and then a table of all the kids. And the waiter's like, all right, this is what we have to drink.
He walked up and he was like, okay, he dealt with tables full of kids
Yeah.
before because he's like,
It was
okay, we got
nuts.
this, we got this, we got this. I'm walking around taking orders now, so be ready. And he just walked around and all the kids were like,
Mac and cheese.
Yep. And our
anyway,
waiter wouldn't even
last thing about
What?
Florida before we
sorry.
go on.
Yeah, we
the
should move on.
drivers.
I think that's pretty much it. That was like two
the
extra
drivers
topics.
there are awful. It was
Oh,
horrible
yeah.
driving there. Like it was
They do
awful.
not know how to
I
drive
don't even
out
want to get
there,
into
man.
it
It's
because it was
crazy.
just a nightmare.
Uber,
You guys didn't fly?
Lyft, taxi.
We did.
rented
So
a car?
we
What was
we
it?
rented a car. It was a huge
People.
car. We
Oh,
got
I
it for
thought it was the
300
driver
bucks.
that you went with.
And it was
There's
a,
two different
Yeah,
conversations
yeah.
going
Sorry,
on right now.
sorry. Go ahead.
Overdone.
He was just
sorry.
querying what the drivers were. No, I drove the rental car.
Yeah,
and
Dan
it
was
was
asking.
just idiots all over the place that didn't know how to drive. I mean, you would be sitting there. It's the speed limit is 70 miles an hour. If I'm sitting in the right lane driving 70 miles an hour, I come up on someone that's driving like 50, so I'll get over to get around them. And then the guy on the right speeds up to match my speed. And then we're just sitting there. And then about 15 people come up behind me trying to pass me. So I speed up, get around them. And then everyone in the left lane slows down and stays at the same speed.
Yep.
So we all, this massive convoy,
I hate when that
just
happens.
moving
Yeah,
on the
it was
highway. And then
crazy.
I get stuck behind someone else that's going 50. Then everyone slows down. It's like they're, oh man.
This one lady, I
Makes
think
me
she might have
mad.
been drunk, but I filmed her for a little bit and she was like swerving so bad. Like it was like she was doing something and then like slowly going into the side of the road, but then she'd realize she was about to hit the curb. So she'd swing over and almost get into our lane.
Jesus.
She was crazy. Anyway, that's that.
you
That's
doing?
our 30-minute talk about Florida.
Yeah, I'm done talking about
So
Florida
speaking
now.
of animals,
Sorry, yes.
Speaking of Florida,
there is. I came home probably like a month ago from work, and I was walking up, and we have like indoor. Like it's an outdoor staircase, but it goes indoors and then upstairs, and there's little window wells for each little level you're at.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And I was walking up and just kind of doing whatever, and I like kind of stopped in my tracks, and there was a fucking cat in the window well on like the third
Aw.
floor. It was very sweet actually, but it freaked me out because I wasn't expecting to see a living thing staring back at me. And so I was like, okay. So I went to the apartment and I brought back some water because I didn't know what it was. I had a collar on, but I gave it the water. And it was just kind of like sitting there, just like looking at me. It was very dopey but cute. And I actually ended up picking it up, and it was very sweet. And I brought him to my apartment.
What?
Bless her.
I brought him to my apartment. He was a sweet cat.
But he had I
It's
guess he had a
someone else's
collar, so you
cat.
could have called
Yeah,
him
I
and
don't,
like, hey,
I
a
don't
cat.
still own him. I then brought him to my apartment, let him go to the bathroom, and I went around the apartment complex.
Where'd he go to
and
the
found
bathroom
the
if you
owner.
don't have a litter box?
I have a cat.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
So I
how'd
have
they get
a-
along?
Yeah.
Well, at the time, we put them in 2 separate rooms.
That's smart.
Okay.
So I went to the first door across from me, and it was their cat. And they didn't even know it was gone.
Wow.
I was like, do you guys have a black cat? And they're like, yeah.
Like offended you.
Did Steph kill it? I wouldn't be surprised if he tried.
I
Somebody said protect the dog earlier in the chat.
don't. No, I don't
I
kill
watch her
animals. It was a
with a
mollusk.
hawk's
If it's like
eye.
a mollusk or a bug, I don't care.
What is a
About
mollusk?
those little things.
What is a mollusk?
It's a little glob. It was a blob.
With a heart and soul.
It doesn't have a heart or a soul. That thing's brain's probably like
It's with
that
Jesus
big.
now.
If it was, guys, I would never kill.
So what else happened to this
Yeah,
cat?
can
Is
we
that
let's
it?
move on?
I brought the cat back, and I was like holding it, and I was like, is this your cat? And so I should also say this cat had huge balls, and they were cute balls. They're like pom poms kind of, but he was very sweet, very dope. He just kind of like he'd let you hold him no matter what. And so
Yeah.
I like was gonna go back to him. I was like, is this your cat? And she was like, yeah, that's my cat. And like took the cat, and she's like, his name's Boo, and then she just walked back into her apartment. I assume it was her cat.
Are
I'll
you
see
sure
you
it was
around, boo.
They had a black cat that was not in their apartment. There's a black cat right next to their apartment. I'll hope for the
I
fact
really
that she
hope
just
that
has a
Boo was
horrible
hers.
memory.
Well, who would take in a cat if someone brought it to their door and be like,
They
"Is
also
this your
have
cat?"
4 kids
What if
in
she
an
wanted
apartment.
a cat all her life and couldn't get one? And then Spencer's like, here you go. You never know.
Cat was sweet. I think it was their cat because I walked by a couple days later and I looked up on their porch and the cat was just like staring off the porch.
Like,
She's
"Hey
like,
there,
please come back and get me.
Help me.
So yesterday I was here at work editing and I get this email from my apartment complex. They emailed everyone and it said, there's a missing black cat we found in a window well. And I was like, it's Boo. Boo's back. And so I called them and I was like, hey, I think I know this black cat I found in a window well. This might be a weird question, but does it have balls? And then the guy on the other end just started laughing. He's like, I think your girlfriend called. And it turned out my girlfriend called like 30 seconds prior and asked him if it had balls too.
That's so funny.
And so I was like, okay. I was like, I'll tell our neighbors that the cat's missing. So I went back home and I like looked for the cat a little bit. It wasn't in our apartment complex. And it turns out someone else found it and it's just on their porch. So I found out the apartment number and I went back home and I was going to go to their apartment and like be like, hey, your cat's missing. But is that weird? Is it weird for me to go to someone's house and be like, hey, you're missing a cat? Like, I know before you do, and I
well,
know
no,
exactly where
they-
the cat is. They got the email. So I know where it is, but I was going to go over there, but they don't know me. All they know is that I brought them their cat once.
Well, I mean, I think for you
Just
it would
keep
have been
the
okay
cat.
because
It's
you
probably
did it
better
before.
off with
Yeah,
you.
maybe you should
Well,
just
I
keep.
don't have the cat.
Go claim it.
I
Be like,
hope
yeah,
they
that's my
have
cat,
it.
Boo.
So
Yeah,
I was going to go
boo.
tonight. I was going to give them a day. And I'm going tonight
see
to
if
where
it's
the
the same
cat
cat.
is at the other apartment
see
and
goodness.
see if it's Boo. And
Yeah.
if it is Boo, I'm going to take the
Be
cat.
like, "Hey, Boo, here you're
Because
coming
the
back
second
with me,
time-
Boo."
yeah.
The
Poor
apartment
Boo.
complex said that it was in the hands of the people who have the cat right now because they don't know
Okay.
what to do with it.
Yeah.
And so if this family doesn't give a shit about their cat and they haven't noticed for a full day that it's gone, then should I take the cat?
Maybe
Street cat justice.
wait a day,
Yeah.
an extra day, and then go down and get Boo and bring it back. And if the people are, once again like, oh yeah, that's ours, then next time it goes missing, keep that cat.
Just
mean,
try
it's
to
like-
intentionally run into them in the thing. Wait, look through your people
Like-
until they come out the door.
There
You're
you
like,
go.
oh, I'm leaving. Oh, how's Boo? And then we're like, oh, we haven't seen him in the last couple of days.
The thing is, I don't know these people at all. They have 3
Yeah.
kids that leave their door open all the time because their kids are home without them. And so it's these 2 parents.
How old are the kids?
They're like probably between 4 and 6.
Maybe they
And
are.
they have a van and it's
Wow.
just
Without
covered
them?
in stickers. Like their
Goodness.
van is
Oh,
just
I've seen that
covered
thing.
in stickers. They're like peeled off the window. There's like crayon everywhere. And so they have this cat. I'm sure the cat hates it there. But I'm not going to take this cat. I don't want to be a cat thief.
You have every right to be a cat thief.
I don't know.
We can make him
You'd
an
be like a
office
cat,
cat.
Batman,
Let's bring him
Yeah.
here and
bringing justice into
Boo
the
is very
situation.
sweet. Another thing is like, I don't know if should I get him neutered? He has some beautiful Boo balls. I don't know.
unless he's
said
probably
Boo?
out, he
Boo.
probably escapes.
like, what?
He probably escapes and just knocks up all the cats in there.
Probably.
Maybe.
But I mean, I don't even know if it's Boo though is the thing because I haven't seen the cat.
true.
Once I see
Yeah.
those balls, I'll know. But I'm gonna go tonight with my girlfriend to this apartment where the cat is, and if no one's taken it,
Well,
I don't know. It's a sweet cat. I don't want it to be like out on the street or in a foster place.
How would your cat get along with this cat, though?
We don't have the cat anymore. It was her parents' cat. We were just holding it for a while.
Oh,
so we now no longer have a cat. So this could be our cat. But well, I mean, I love Boo. I had a great interaction with him.
Man.
He was very well trained. He was very sweet. He's big and fluffy and fat. I like him.
you can go save. I'd say you could save Boo.
So I'm gonna try to save Boo tonight. We'll see.
Keep us updated.
I will. I'll update you guys.
As
Probably
a
next
cat
week.
aficionado, I give my full approval
I
to
like Dan's idea, though.
Operation
heist
Rescue.
that cat.
Just watch and see when they come out and then just be like, how's Boo?
How's
and
Boo?
then they'll be like, oh,
I was
shit.
waiting to run into them on the stairs, but they come home like their kids are home, and I don't want to just like go over there and knock, and their kids are
Yeah,
alone.
Wait, so their 6 and 4-year-old are left home alone
I
all
think
day?
it's 3 kids between 4 and 6.
That's not
and they're
legal.
at
You
the
can't-
apartment by themselves
I don't
all
think
day?
you can leave those kids unsupervised.
I don't know. There's no
Well,
like
There's
they,
got to be a
supposed to.
nanny or
yeah.
something.
I just felt uncomfortable going over there to knock on the door and be like, "Is your parents home?" Like
Is
I
your
don't want to
parents
be that guy.
Are your parents
Well, maybe
That's what they'd say.
But
Boo
yeah,
versus Elf who has bigger balls.
illiterate. Mom told me to bring out the neighbor or the stranger gun whenever somebody
well, I'm gonna
knocks.
keep an eye out for Boo. I hope we end up getting him. He's a very sweet cat.
Oh, Boo.
That'd be
I think it's just because a bunch of kids fucking hard pet him and throw him around, and he's just like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah. They're still learning at that age how to be gentle.
Yeah.
The kiddos.
All cats are pricks, to be honest. Yeah.
To some degree,
yeah.
there's sweeter cats than others.
Yeah, and
Okay.
like, my cats are sweet, but at the same time, they can be pricks too. Like any cat can be a prick.
Mitzi was the sweetest cat I've ever owned, but she was like 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was a bag of bones.
And she could hardly see, right?
Yep, she had cataracts. Her liver failed, which is
baby.
why she ended up passing. But she was
Yeah.
the sweetest and most well-trained cat ever. If she was 20, she better be well-trained by that point.
Yeah.
But typically, cats are resistant.
She knew what was up.
Maybe it could be the hub cat. Good old Boo. And we
I
can
know.
zoom
I was
in on his
saying I
balls
could-
all the time.
Oh, goodness.
Lordy.
I said we could keep him here and just let him wander, and we'll just put a
But there's so
litter
many
box.
pokies outside.
No, inside.
Oh,
Just let him wander
but
the
then
He's
inside.
not an outdoor
Hair.
cat. He likes patios, but that's about it. I think he likes patios because he gets away from people.
Yeah, I think it's just too risky to have an outdoor cat most of the time, especially with so many streets around now.
Yeah.
Have I ever talked about Garfield?
Your cat?
Yeah.
No.
Well,
You
it's my
mentioned him.
sister's cat, and he was.
He's a big fat cat, right?
This is back in no. This is a different one. This was before that fat cat, the era
Okay.
before that fat
Gotcha.
cat.
Generation
So
before.
we got a cat one day. My mom, I think, called and said like there was a cat at her work. So we went into her work because apparently one of the ladies was an idiot and got a cat without checking with her landlord or something. So she was unable to keep this poor cat. It was a foster cat or came from, I can't even remember the origin. I was, a little younger then, so I didn't really care about those fine details. And we ended up bringing it home just to keep it for a few days and ended up keeping it for a
I
while.
have a feeling this is going to be a sad story.
I love the way you tell
not really.
stories. Like,
This
these
is
details
hilarious.
are so precise.
So my
And I like
sister,
how he talks like at the ground. He was like, and then there was a cat.
I'm
and
trying
his
to
name
make sure I
was like
articulate
this.
and tell it as dramatically as possible.
Tell like a YouTuber.
Okay, so anyway, this cat was going around. I was like, what is this cat doing here? It's just a little cat. Ah!
Did the
That was
cat
really
claw
good.
your dick off?
Who knows?
Cat
I'll never
claws
tell the
my dick
story.
off?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we kept the cat and we never got it neutered. We didn't. It was an outdoor cat for the most part. For a little while, we had it. We'd let it inside, and we just kind of let it out whenever it wanted to go out. It was just one of those, male cats that just strut around the neighborhood and never got it neutered, which was in retrospect horrible because that's ended up how one of our cats got pregnant all the time, was because there was a cat down the road that would always knock her up, and we knew because half the babies would always be his color. So I'd always see him sitting there.
What
I'd
a
always see
little
him sitting
fox.
on a doorstep, and I'd be like,
You little shit.
Yay,
I
Nick
was
Lasky,
thinking-
thanks for the
I was thinking about when Spencer was
subscription.
telling the story about the cat balls, about that dog who used to live in my neighborhood growing up. The only dog I ever saw that had balls, he was like this kind of like big beefy dog who'd walk around, and he would just knock up all the neighborhood dogs.
Oh, yeah, I you
All
tell
of them.
that.
And his name was Sugar Bear, and that was his actual
yes.
Sugar Bear.
Sugar Bear the pimp.
Sugar
Damn.
Bear.
That reminds
Name
me
was
of
really Sugar
Mama
Bear.
June's ex.
name.
Goodness.
Someone
But-
said they had outdoor cats and that their neighbors poisoned one of them.
Yeah, well, there's some
that's
mean people
yeah.
out there. There's a lot of
That's-
risk, including wild animals, because we were in
Yes.
Massachusetts, Minnesota for our first round of cats, all outdoor cats. We lost 2 to the 3 to.
Didn't you have like
to-
11 at the time?
No, that was in Massachusetts
Okay, sorry. So many
after
cats.
the Garfield cat. So anyway, my sister always likes to name cats, but isn't very good at it. So she named this
Sorry,
cat
Allie.
Skittles. It was a male cat, and I was like, no.
That's a cute little
And then
name.
eventually, I
2
convinced her.
syllables.
Eventually, I convinced her to name it
Wait, Skittles has
Garfield.
2 syllables.
Huh?
Nothing. I was an idiot for
Skittles.
a couple seconds.
Skittles.
Skittles sounds like it's 14 syllables to me.
Is there still a lot of repeated letters?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Just 2.
So when I lived in the mountains, I had 6 chickens, and they all got eaten to the point where we had a metal door in our coop, and a bear ripped the metal door off the coop and ate our last chicken.
Could you imagine being a chicken when that's happening? How scary.
It was so sad though, because there was
You just
one
hear, like,
chicken
a-
left for about 2 days, and he was just alone in the coop, just waiting.
Aw.
Sorry, that just reminded me of this story when you were
That's
saying.
so
waiting for his
horrifying.
death, that
That's
poor
a scary
chicken.
They were great
horror film right
chickens
there.
too.
well,
Rest in
rip
peace,
chicken.
chickies.
Anyway,
Sorry.
so I convinced her to name it Garfield, and then we had this thing where we'd always rename her cats because she picked stupid names, and eventually it turned into Geefious. So
Now, is that the stupid name or the good name?
no, that's my improv name. And be like, oh, it's Geefious. Look at that. Anyway,
Oh, I wish you were an improv actor and that
Ah.
was your actual like name. I am Geefious. Improv
am
Dead by
extraordinaire.
Daylight Chicken
Geefious.
Edition. It's Dead by Daylight Chicken Edition. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, basically
is.
with a bear.
Those poor chickens.
Man, that's a good mobile game right there, or just a game in general, being a bunch of chickens trying to escape a fox or a bear.
Or you could be the bear if you pay $2.99.
Just kill chickens.
Yeah.
Good mobile game. Anyway,
Yeah, sorry.
renamed the cat. So he eventually fell on Morris because he looked like Morris the cat that was on those wet
This is all
food
one
things.
cat.
Yes. So he got renamed a million times. He's an outdoor cat. We didn't neuter him. He would disappear for weeks at a time. And he would just
Like Boo.
yeah, he was just a problem cat. He was really ornery, and anytime he came in, he was just aggressive, and because he wasn't neutered, he'd spray. So
Oh Jesus!
Spray?
yeah, he's a male cat, not
Yeah.
neutered. They spray.
They sprayed. They marked their territory.
yeah. So anyway, he would spray when he came in. He'd always scratch us, and he was just a mean cat.
Why did you?
But we
you
always-
should just left the door closed.
Me
and
and-
let him go off into the no.
So me and my dad
Find
would
a
always
place.
defend this cat because we would just be stupid about it. We'd be like, "Oh, he doesn't mean it. He's just
Good old Geefious."
Yeah, good Geefious.
What is that name?
He's just a. Basically, he was just
Any
a
kid
mean
goes
cat.
He gets in a hyper defensive position. His tail gets all fluffy. He's like,
Geefious, come on. You're a good
"Oh, such a
Geefious.
good cat. We'll keep feeding you and watering
Yeah,
you."
well, that's what me and my dad would do
Always
because that was
sprayed
just our
me.
humor. We'd just be like, "Oh, he doesn't mean
Then
that."
he
when
goes, sprays you and runs.
So anyway, yeah, he was a horrible cat. Anyway, he disappeared. He'd disappear for weeks at a time, impregnating cats, going on adventures, whatever. Eventually, he came back. He was gone for 3 weeks one time. We didn't see him at all. And then one day, it was during a storm.
me.
He was just like meowing at the window, so we let him in. It's like Geefious. He looked awful. He hadn't eaten a while,
baby.
so he just sat there, scarfed everything down, left me.
He's like a little Viking.
He's using you.
He was gone then
He's
for 2
smart.
months. It escalated. He
the hell?
disappeared for 2 months, and we were like, "Well, I think this
Then he
is
comes back and
finally.
he's
I think this is finally it. I
Like
think
hobbling
Garfield
back.
is gone, and that's really sad. I mean, no one really missed him that much because he was a grouch and he was a mean cat. And then he
nature take
came
care of him.
back, and we were like, "What in the world? You're still alive?" And he came back. He looked so ratty and like probably had picked up about like we let him into the house
Sorry.
momentarily, and he just
Told
once
it.
again scarfed down some stuff. He hung around the house for a couple
Got
days.
like 16 cats
he
pregnant.
was gone. He was gone for 6 months. 6 months.
Hold on. I want the end of this
the
story to
fuck?
be him hobbling in again, and then he just comes into the middle of you guys' kitchen, and everybody's just gathered around like Geefious.
And then it just collapses.
He just flops over.
Only if it was that comical. This thing came back. He was gone for 6 months, and we were just like, okay, that's it. Garfield's done for.
Yep.
He got hit by a car, like
baby.
eaten by an animal,
Yeah.
poisoned by a neighbor, taken in by someone. I don't know. Something happened to
I
him.
hope someone took him in.
Hopefully he had lots of kittens in his long life. And he showed up again. He showed up after
Good old
6
Geefious.
months.
Where was
and
he?
just,
What?
who knows? But the funny thing about this cat was that he was ripped. Like, I've never seen a cat get so strong. So when he would just be like, again, he had biceps. Like, you pick him up and he's just solid. Like, he was like most
Damn,
cats
he
you
was
pick up and
working
they kind
out.
of have a belly and
swole.
they're a little
He
bit,
was swole,
soft
baby.
and fluffy. This cat was just solid
was
muscle.
stacked.
He was
So
probably
he
doing,
came
like,
back
jumps
and
on
he
the
was
wall.
real skinny and he was real muscular and he was walked in and it was just like, I was like, oh, hey, Geefious. Oh, okay, yeah, that's Geefious for you. And then he left again, and then we actually ended up moving, so we never got to see if he came back.
He probably came back. I was like, what the hell? Where did everybody go?
What state was this in?
There, he's like
This is Massachusetts.
If anyone in Massachusetts sees a swole, ripped cat,
He
what,
looks
what
like
color?
he's orange and he's an orange tabby, so he looks like Garfield.
Send us a picture.
And so
How
every
old
time,
would he be at this point?
oh, he'd
Geefious,
too
more like
old.
beefious.
yeah, Geefious.
Funny.
Yeah,
6
he'd-
months
he'd
later, he
be-
returns from training.
Yeah, he'd be too old, probably to survive at this point. But
Well, I don't know. Beefious
If he
sounded
was that
pretty
ripped,
legit.
maybe he was in really good
was.
shape.
He could be that
He had
fabled
like
cat
rations
that
he
just
saved.
like took kids and ate them and stuff like that. Who knows?
8 children.
But yeah, so that's
terrifying.
Geefious. Garfield. He grew up. If you ask my sister, of course, his name was Garfield, and then Geefious, then Morris. So we called him Morris. And any time after that, we see an orange cat wandering around. We're like, oh, it's Morris.
I hope in your
Damn.
most intimate moment, you're just sitting there at home, and all of a sudden you just hear,
And I turn around and he's
just like
sitting there. and
scratch
it's
on
like-
the back door.
He's just sitting there like
He
on
followed
the,
you
on the
guys.
thing, and
He's
his
missing
tail's
an
just.
eye. Half of his ear's been bitten
poor
off. He's just like,
baby.
Yeah, he lost it. No,
You
there's
hear like
plenty
a
of
normal
chunks of
knock
his
at the
hair.
door. It's like a normal knock. He's just like, boom, boom, boom. He has the muscles to do it.
Can we make a cartoon of
Beefious.
this, of Geefious?
Geefious should be a cartoon.
That'd be
He's
a funny
he's
cartoon.
a ripped cat.
Short.
Like that thing was
Animated short.
hilarious.
Each
But anyway,
season could be when he's gone. So each season will get longer each time. Be 2-week long season. Then 2 months. Then 6.
6 months. Yeah.
Then however long.
He would still be evil.
Yeah,
He
he
came
was.
back one day and he didn't get food and he probably died.
He was getting foods from somewhere if he was living that long out
Yeah.
there. I
He
don't
probably
know.
had multiple families that he did that with.
I hope so.
Jordan was just one.
Yeah,
of them.
no, I said that.
Do you think
he
there
had-
was any families that he would be nice to?
Probably.
He probably had some
Knowing
nice
him,
children. Like,
he'd
oh,
go
these
out
ones
and-
really have the shit.
They were the
Yeah.
other family.
They were the 6-month
The neighbors.
family.
Yeah.
You guys just got you
No,
got you got
the
outbid.
thing was he did not look like he was staying anywhere for 6
yeah,
months. He was on the road for 6 months. He looked rough. He looked very rough, but Beefious was,
He has like a straw with like rats on the side. And he's like, yeah. Sorry.
what?
Weightlifting,
Weightlifting,
a
a
straw
straw
with
with
rats. And
rats.
it's just like,
Jesus.
I was like, what are you talking about? Is
I
this
want
like
a
some kind
cartoon
of
of
sick
that,
rat
not of him having
shrine?
sex. But
How do you know that dried up lizard you found up in Florida wasn't Geefious's his prey? It was a sign. He was leaving a dead lizard as a sign.
He's been tracking me
I
all
feel like
this
it was
time.
just Steph who came and made some jerky.
what?
He just clubbed the lizard and let it dry
How
as
long
a
have we
sign.
been going for right
Kill
now?
the lizard. I
feel
would
like
not
we
kill
ran
a
into
We're
lizard.
close to wrap up
I
time.
think we've ran into a
did
lot
rip
of.
a lizard's tail once, but
Is
it
there
was an
anything else we want
accident.
to talk about? Unless I should chat about Mass Effect a little bit for a pertinent topic.
I haven't seen a single good thing about Mass Effect aside from people talking to me.
It looks
But
kinda
everything
cool.
I've seen online has just been
Okay,
poor
what
animations.
are the main complaints? Poor
Just animations. I've heard the gameplay is really good.
So, yeah, I saw nothing about this game until I saw a very, very little leading up to the actual release. So I didn't really understand a lot
didn't know
about
it
it.
came
I felt
out.
like a real idiot booting up the game and playing it for my playthrough and not really understanding when it was happening. And I was trying to make comparisons. I was like, is this before? Would Shepard have been alive at the and then later on someone had mentioned, I was like, oh, that makes complete sense. Because all the technology was the same from that era. So I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And
So it's concurrent.
well, basically what happens is in between Mass Effect 2 and 3, which is maybe a year's time or so, or maybe a couple years, they send out a bunch of people, and it's basically Interstellar. They send a bunch of colonists out to try and, instead of embryos, though, it's actual cryoed people. And they send them to a new
Like
galaxy.
Alien Covenant.
Yep.
Yeah, like that. So they send him to a new galaxy, and they're like, okay, let's find a place. We've scanned, and at one part I don't understand about it is they're like, we scanned these planets. It's like, okay, it's 2 million light years away. You're looking at planets that were 2 million years old. Like, how are they even still gonna? They may not even be there. So they basically just shoot off 20,000 people in a straight line. 600 years later, they get there. So you're way past, at the point that you get there, you're way past anything from any of the Mass Effects.
But the tech's all the same.
But the tech's all the same. So it's a really cool concept. And it's like, oh,
I like
okay,
that.
everything I know is left behind and probably not there anymore. But now I'm out, starting this new thing. So it kind of combined all the cool aspects of what I love about Mass Effect, which is the technology, aliens, lore of it, with just a whole clean slate of like, you get to decide what's going on here.
It'd be really funny for a movie is if you took 600 years to get there, you finally got there, and then another ship shows up, and they're like, hey, we're 559 years later, we made a faster ship.
Faster ship. That would be pretty funny. But it's super
already
cool.
colonized by the time they get there. It's like, oh yeah, we sent you off on that one. Sorry about that. But yeah,
we passed by.
About
waved.
5 years later, we cracked it.
Yeah.
So we're really advanced.
But
So kill you now. You're imperfect.
We've advanced genetically in all ways. And so, yeah, it really gave me a cool feeling, because that feeling you get when you're watching Interstellar and, like, kind of thinking what it would be like to be in that position where you are leaving behind everything and there's no chance that you're going back. There's no return trip. And it's kind of a cool feeling about it.
What's the guy's name? It's like Revenant.
Ryder. His last name's Ryder. And so you get there, and but basically it's been awesome so far, and I hadn't heard anything. I felt like an idiot playing it initially because I was like, I have no idea when this is.
Oh, the game should do well enough to catch you up.
It doesn't. It gives you times, like dates, so unless you know the dates, you won't know. And I didn't remember. In Mass Effect? Oh, yeah. Mass Effect was like the first big game to add like a romance thing.
Give me
a blowjob.
Yeah. Someone said there was a steamy sex scene, so I didn't know that people were sleeping with each other in there.
Sex scene.
Like with the aliens and stuff?
It could be. They actually do you romance. They don't let you romance Krogans still. Like, what's up with that?
Why are you getting angry? Are you attracted to Krogans?
So the main thing is
No.
They fell under a lot of flack eventually because Mass Effect was like, they started with romancing, but you could only romance girls, and then they got a lot of flack because you couldn't romance the guys, and then they added that for 3 or a little bit in 2, I can't remember, but they added all that. But now you can romance like
is it pertinent to your survival that you're sleeping with everybody, or is it just to let go?
You got to repopulate. You got to make sure you repopulate.
Well, that, and it's just they're human beings.
Yeah.
Why people want to sleep with that? That looks like it'll rip you.
Krogans are the souls. Would you scrape them out of a shell too?
No,
scrape them out of their armor.
Scary.
Krogans are the most.
I wouldn't sleep with a Krogan. That's all I was saying.
Krogans are the most fertile aliens known to man currently. Like in this universe, Krogans can repopulate. Like they're super fertile.
You know what, Stephanie?
But they got a genophage, so that's
Stephanie,
a whole
I may not want to have sex with a Krogan right now, but if someone told me I couldn't have sex with a Krogan, you better bet I would fuck a Krogan the next day.
So that's the only thing I'm upset about, is that I can't romance the Krogan.
Upset. Sorry.
Anyway,
that's sad. You should be able to romance a Krogan.
So I got to play the game, and so far, like, everything about it, I'm loving, because it's like, it's open world. You kind of just go around and do whatever you want while following the story. RPG stuff. You get to explore the worlds and populate them. Like you get to like choose when you're waking people up from cryo and like trying to settle these worlds and help terraform them and stuff. So it's really cool.
That sounds fun.
All the complaints about the animations and stuff. Basically, just to kind of a sum up version of it. Mm-hmm. The main thing I saw when I had heard about the game is their whole boasting thing is that the least talkative character in Mass Effect Andromeda, squadmate wise, has 3 times the lines Shepard did in Mass Effect 3. So they're upping the ante as far as how much story and dialogue and options
is provided
and is going into this, which means they're kind of losing out on the opportunity to be able to go in and do manual face posing, which is, basically manual face posing is very rare. They don't really do it a lot in games anymore. Only in like specific scenes, like all the Elusive Man stuff I know is all manual, because you can tell. I've done it before, and I can recognize when there's actual animation emotion behind it compared to just plugging in the audio and then it kind of recognizes the different sounds and tries to form the faces to it.
There is one clip though I saw on Reddit that was really funny.
I've seen a few really funny ones, and I actually encountered one that was like kind of funny. It was just
funny.
like her eyes were super big and stuff. But you know,
can I see the clip
Yeah,
though?
yeah.
So they're just talking and explaining something, and their mouth is just not matching up, and at the end they're like, "Sorry, my face is tired."
oh, right.
Yeah, they're like, "Sorry, my face is tired." It's like, is that why it's not matching up?
They have a lot of aliens in there with different facial structures and stuff. That stuff you cannot tell because, you know, you're not used to that kind of facial movement. So your mind will buy just about anything coming out of their mouths. And I actually experienced that when I was doing some face posing and stuff for Reprisal back in the day, is booting up like a Turian face model. I was like, okay, how am I supposed to make it look like he's talking a certain way? So like there's different ways the facial stuff moves. But I've only seen a few instances where I'm just like, that's kind of poopy. But it's nothing like, it's about the same as all the other Mass Effects have been so far. There haven't really been massive, there's not a downgrade in it. It's just kind of the same going forward. The only thing, there's a few things that have really bugged me about the game so far that kind of suck. And one is when you go up to a regular character, like just an NPC or something, and go to chat with them, if it's not a pre-selected cutscene, so like a main character, it swings the camera around and then just lets it sit. And it's like never really took the time to actually set up cameras for that, so it just kind of guesses. And there's been so many times where I walk up to someone, I'm like, and I select them, and then I'm not in the right position. The camera moves, and it's just blank area for 90% of the screen, and then my character and then their characters behind my characters, I can't even see them. Like this happens quite a bit. So if it's not like a main cutscene talking sequence, they just like guess where the camera goes.
Didn't that happen to you the other day? Sorry, spoiler alert for your channel, I guess, but you're like, I can't even see what's happening.
Yeah, no, that would have been it. Where I'm just like, yeah, well, I can't really see what you're saying right now. So
okay,
that does suck. There's the space travel now is it's kind of the same. It'll have a galaxy map, and then you choose different planets to go to. You can't skip, and it actually goes. You actually fly. It FPVs you flying to the different planets, and you can't skip it. It looks really cool, but it just takes way too much time.
Yeah, it's kind of like No Man's Sky, because whenever you would travel to different planets, it'd just be like, okay,
yeah,
even with the speed up thing, it's still takes
you'll
a bit.
sit there, you'll look at the galaxy, and it's like, okay, I want to go to that one, and then it'll just be like, it'll snap back, and all of a sudden. and you're like first person, and then you fly up to it and kind of round it, and it like settles on it, and then it backs up, and then you can do something. So it's like a good 15 to 20 seconds.
That'll be
of
annoying
travel
after
time.
like the first two
It
times.
is, and it is when you're trying to kind of search between them, but. So that kind of sucks. But otherwise, like all the characters so far have been awesome. The combat system's awesome. Riding around the vehicle and doing stuff is super cool. All the enemies so far have been fun to fight. There's been some really cool map design. Like it's a really fun game. Besides the little, issues here and there, so far it's been a lot of fun.
Cool.
I still need to go through all of them. I've never made it through the first one. I always get past the club fight with the Krogans and stuff like that, and that's around where I stop.
I've only watched people play it.
It's a phenomenal series. The last 2 hours, and I've seen Kovic say this before. I think I saw him say it, and I've kind of adopted the same sentiment around it, is the last 2 hours of Mass Effect, the first one, are probably some of the best gaming, cinematic gaming gameplay, whatever you want to call it, that it's like the best 2 hours in gaming history kind of thing. It's like super awesome.
Cool.
And then Mass Effect 2 is super cool just all the way throughout. It's not quite as a crazy ending to it, but it's still really good. I need to replay Mass Effect 3 though. That's all I have to say.
That's
Which
all I
of the
have to
four
say
options do you want to choose,
about
Jordan?
Wait, let's do a quick round.
Yellow one.
Oh, we haven't played it yet.
Huh?
Wait, that toy just went up, didn't it?
Yeah, the toy
Yeah,
just
it did.
did.
That's right. So we can play it.
What?
I forgot.
Well, it's been there the entire time.
It's been
I
sitting
was
there.
say someone do a quick round.
Nah, it's not good for the podcast.
It's neither here nor there.
All right.
Well,
Some would say that this
that's all, folks.
podcast is a wrap.
I just burped.
Yo,
Bye.
it's a wrap
Sorry I
up.
talk so
We're
much
done
today.
With the
I had a lot to
Hubcast.
say.
Yo, it's time to go get some food because we're
Yo.
all going to dinner.